Hello, everybody. I'm Jerry Willis. More on the latest actions from Capitol Hill to bring down gas prices when I'm joined by Congresswoman Jenkins of Kansas. Plus, I'll break down a sobering report that shows gas prices aren't the only thing going up. Health care costs hitting new highs. And our Thursday talkers are back and weighing in on some in Congress who are warning the debate over the debt ceiling could become politicized. Up front tonight, grilling big oil on Capitol Hill, the CEOs of the 5 of the biggest oil companies on the hot seat today over soaring gas prices. But is this just really a political witch hunt? Joining me now is Congresswoman Jenkins from Kansas. Congresswoman, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, well, so answer the question. Is this a witch hunt? Are we just finding people to demonize?
Well, I think it's easy for politicians in Washington to try to demonize others, but the fact is we're in the situation we're in today because Washington has failed to act. For decades now, we have no long-term comprehensive energy plan in place, and that's why House Republicans, our whip and our deputy whip have put together a heat team designed to not only address the issue of the rising prices at the pump today, the issue of jobs and national security, but to come up with a long-term strategy to address this issue once and for all.
I think everybody would welcome that, but I got to tell you, a lot of people out there are angry over higher prices. Let me show you some numbers that we put together that I think are telling. These are the numbers fueling the debate. Yearly oil company tax breaks, $4.4 billion. Oil company profits, 2010, $77 billion. And then what we spend on gas, take a look at that number. Ouch, $389 billion. So you see, we're giving these people lots of tax breaks, and we're paying a very big bill as well. What do you make of that?
Well, that is exactly why we have to address this issue, and certainly the policies of this administration of putting a moratorium on drilling, on rejecting sales, our lease sales over the course of the last year. That's exactly the direction you do not want to go. We're in the situation we're in because demand has increased and our supply has decreased. And so the actions by this president have made the situation even worse. So this week, House Republicans passed a few measures to get the moratorium lifted, to get lease sales back on track. And we've introduced the legislation. I believe Congressman Nunes from California has a roadmap, comprehensive, all of the above approach.
But Congresswoman, let me interrupt you here for just a second, because I think even people who are on the side of the oil companies say, look, even if we start opening up drilling today, all around the country, offshore, onshore, wherever, we're still not going to bring down gas prices substantially. So why even go down that road? A lot of people asking this question tonight.
Well, I think that's why we're in the situation we're in today, is because as prices fell, members of Congress abandoned any long-term strategy. If you don't start, you're never going to get there. We have to start. We have ignored this problem for decades in Washington. And the sooner we get started, the sooner we can become less dependent on foreign sources, more dependent on our domestic resources, diversify with alternative resources.
But it's still a stopgap measure, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we're not going to cure the problems of a deficit of energy by just tapping oil supplies here in the U.S. It's still stopgap, right?
Well, we're never going to solve it, being reliant on foreign sources. We have to use domestic resources and invest in those alternative resources and encourage competition, not discourage competition, as this administration has done through further regulations, threats of additional tax increases. Wrong direction, and that's why I'm pleased the House Republicans are set to put us on the correct path when it comes to lowering the price at the pump, getting Americans back to work, and becoming secure in our supply of energy.
All right, Congresswoman, thanks for your time tonight. We really appreciate it.
You bet.
Okay, it's time for our Thursday